There is a wound. That doesn't bleed. It doesn't leave scars. It doesn't appear on an X-ray. Most people spend their entire lives carrying it without realizing it exists, because it was never created by something that happened. It was created by something that never happened. The hug that never came. The words you desperately needed to hear. The feeling of being truly understood. The quiet certainty that someone would love you without requiring you to earn it. Some people grow up with that certainty. Others spend their entire lives searching for it. Maybe, without even knowing they are searching, think back for a moment, not to one specific memory, but to a feeling that followed you through childhood. You were surrounded by people, yet somehow you still felt alone. Not because nobody was there, because nobody truly saw you. There is a difference, a life-changing difference, between living in the same house as someone and feeling emotionally safe with them. Many children never experience that safety. Nobody hits them, nobody abandons them, nobody intentionally tries to hurt them. From the outside, everything looks normal, but inside the child, something very different is happening. Their fears are dismissed, their emotions are misunderstood. Their sadness becomes an inconvenience. Their needs slowly become something they stop expressing. Until one day, without anyone ever saying the words, the child reaches a silent conclusion. Maybe the real me isn't lovable. That sentence changes everything, because children never begin by questioning their parents. They question themselves. If love feels distant, they assume they are the problem. If affection disappears, they believe they caused it. If approval only comes after achievement, they learn that love must be earned. And once that belief enters the mind, it quietly begins writing the rest of their life. It shapes the friendships they choose, the relationships they stay in, the people they chase, the criticism they believe, the love they think they deserve, and most painfully, the person they become. If any part of this feels familiar, stay with me, because what you're about to hear may explain a feeling you've carried for years, without ever having the language to describe it. Carl Jung spent more than 40 years studying the hidden architecture of the human mind. He wasn't interested in ordinary problems. He wanted to understand the invisible wounds, the ones that shape an entire personality, without leaving a single physical scar. And what he discovered changed the way psychologists understand identity forever. A child is never born believing they are unworthy. No child enters the world thinking, "I am too much. I am not enough. I have to earn love." Those beliefs are learned quietly, patiently, one experience at a time. The child who grows up feeling emotionally safe learns something powerful. My feelings matter. My mistakes don't make me unlovable. I don't have to become someone else to deserve affection. My existence is enough. But the child who grows up emotionally unseen learns a completely different language, a language built from silence, from uncertainty, from emotional absence. They learn to watch every face, every tone of voice, every expression. They become experts at reading everyone else's emotions, while slowly losing touch with their own. They become quieter, more agreeable, less demanding. They stop asking for comfort, not because they don't need it, because experience taught them it probably won't come. And without realizing it, they begin hiding pieces of themselves, not because those parts are bad, because those parts no longer feel safe. Every swallowed tear, every unanswered need, every hidden fear, every dream they quietly abandoned, doesn't disappear. It simply sinks below the surface, waiting patiently for the day It finally asks to be seen. Carl Jung believed that nothing we reject about ourselves ever truly disappears. It simply moves somewhere we can no longer see it. He called this hidden place. The shadow. Most people misunderstand what the shadow is. They imagine something dark, something dangerous, something evil. But the shadow is rarely made from evil. More often, it's made from innocence. The tears you were told not to cry, the anger you weren't allowed to express, the questions nobody answered, the dreams that made other people uncomfortable, the parts of yourself you quietly buried, just to feel accepted. Every child wants the same thing: to belong, to feel safe, to be loved. If hiding your emotions helped you receive that love, your mind learned to keep hiding them. If becoming the good child avoided conflict, you became the good child. If staying quiet prevented rejection, silence became your personality. At first, these adaptations protected you. They helped you survive. But survival strategies were never meant to become lifelong identities. The tragedy is that most people never notice the transition. They think, "This is just who I am," that they don't realize they're living as the version of themselves that once kept a frightened child safe. Years pass. The child grows into an adult, but the patterns remain. You apologize even when you've done nothing wrong. You struggle to say no. You feel guilty for resting. You become uncomfortable when people are upset with you. You constantly wonder if you're asking for too much. You give even when you're exhausted. You stay even when you're unhappy. You forgive before anyone has earned it. Not because you're weak, because somewhere inside, a child still believes love can disappear at any moment. And that child is trying to prevent it. This is why so many adults become addicted to approval. Not because they enjoy pleasing people, because approval feels like safety. Every compliment becomes reassurance. Every rejection feels like danger. Every criticism feels larger than it really is. Not because of what happened today, but because of what happened years ago. The present keeps awakening the past. This is what Carl Jung meant when he said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Many people think they're choosing their relationships. They're not. They're repeating familiar emotional patterns. The emotionally unavailable partner feels strangely familiar. The friend who only takes feels strangely familiar. The boss who is impossible to please feels strangely familiar, because familiarity and safety are not the same thing. The nervous system often mistakes what is familiar for what is safe. That is why people sometimes spend decades chasing the very kind of love that first wounded them. They don't know they're repeating the past. They believe they're searching for the future, and this is where healing truly begins. Not by blaming your parents, not by carrying resentment forever, but by finally seeing the invisible pattern. Because you cannot change what you cannot see. The moment you recognize that many of your fears were learned, something extraordinary begins to happen. You stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" And you begin asking a far more powerful question. Who taught me to believe this? That single question can change the rest of your life. Because once you see the pattern, you no longer have to live inside it. And in the final part, we'll explore what Carl Jung believed was the path to becoming whole, not by becoming someone new, but by finally becoming the person you were before the world taught you to hide. Healing doesn't begin the moment someone finally loves you. It begins the moment you stop abandoning yourself. That was the destination of Carl Jung's work. Not becoming perfect, not becoming fearless, Not becoming someone completely different, becoming whole. Because the child you buried never disappeared. They simply waited for the day you would finally come back. Most people spend years searching for someone who will finally make them feel worthy, a partner, a friend, a parent, a mentor. But no relationship can permanently heal a belief that you secretly carry about yourself. If deep inside you still believe, I have to earn love, you'll keep over-giving, you'll keep over-explaining, you'll keep apologizing for things that were never your fault. You'll keep chasing people who were never running toward you. Not because you enjoy suffering, because your nervous system mistakes familiarity for love. This is why awareness changes everything. The moment you recognize the pattern, you interrupt it. You stop asking, why do I always end up here? And you begin asking, what part of me still believes this is all I deserve? That question changes lives, because healing isn't about rewriting the past. It's about refusing to let the past keep writing your future. There is a quiet moment that almost everyone experiences during this journey. It isn't dramatic. There are no fireworks, no applause. One day, someone disappoints you. Someone misunderstands you. Someone walks away. And for the first time, you don't chase them. You don't beg them to stay. You don't explain yourself for the 10th time. You simply breathe. You feel the pain and you let it pass. Not because it doesn't hurt, because your worth no longer depends on whether they choose you. That is freedom, real freedom. The freedom that Carl Jung believed comes through individuation, the process of becoming the person you were. Before fear taught you to perform, before rejection taught you to hide, before emotional neglect taught you that love had to be earned. The goal was never to become someone else. The goal was to remember who you were. Before the world convinced you that being yourself wasn't enough. If you grew up feeling emotionally unseen, none of this was your fault. But healing is now your responsibility, not because you caused the wound, because only you can decide whether it continues defining your life. Remember this: you are not weak because you needed love. You are not broken because you wanted to be understood. Those needs were never the problem. The problem was believing you had to sacrifice yourself to deserve them. You don't, you never did, and you never will. So if this video helped you understand something about yourself or about the child you once were, tell me in the comments. What is one belief about yourself that you're finally ready to let go of? I read every comment. And if this journey resonates with you, subscribe to the Silent Power Care, because every week we explore the psychology of Carl Jung, Machiavelli, stoicism, human nature, and emotional freedom, not to control other people, but to finally understand yourself. Remember, the strongest person is not the one who hides every wound. It is the one who no longer lets those wounds decide who they become. I'll see you in the next lesson.